In college, my best friend and roommate Ashley and I would always talk about traveling the world together. We both had a serious case of wanderlust, and at the top of our list was going to Vietnam together. This year, we made it happen. We spent 5 days in Sapa and Hanoi and had such an adventure. I'm so excited to share our trip with you. Sapa is a remote town in northwest Vietnam, famous for its beautiful mountains and rice terraces. One of the most common ways to get to Sapa is by sleeper bus, which takes over 6 hours from Hanoi. Being on the sleeper bus, I literally felt like I was Harry Potter when he rides that sketchy double-decker bus. After what felt like a lifetime, we finally arrived in Sapa. The next morning, we woke up to nature. We stayed at a homestay that we found on Airbnb tucked away in the mountains of Sapa. It was so tranquil being there, and getting to eat breakfast with this view of the rice terraces was absolutely incredible. To be completely honest, it was a little bit too tranquil and rural for us, and so we decided to switch to a hotel in town for our second night. Today, we are going trekking through the rice terraces, which are one of the most defining features of Sapa. Our guides were indigenous Hmong women who led us up and down the very steep and muddy rice terraces. One of the most impressive parts about this was that while I was barely keeping my footing and made the poor choice of wearing Nike sneakers, they were wearing flip-flops while carrying babies and bags on their backs and had no issues at all walking. While the hiking was not easy, it was totally worth it. Every time I would pause to look up, I was just in awe of how beautiful the view was. I definitely recommend making sure you do this in Sapa. After a long day of trekking, we stopped for some tea at this peaceful and cozy cafe that another guest at the Airbnb homestay recommended to us. We actually asked the owner where we should get dinner, and she recommended an amazing vegan restaurant that was hidden down this random alley we never would have found if we hadn't asked her. Moral of the story is always ask people that you meet what they recommend. Each table came with notes from previous diners that you could read while you waited for your food. You could tell by the little touches like this how thoughtful the owners are, and they did a great job creating a peaceful dining experience that was very different from any of the other restaurants in Sapa. We tried Vietnamese spring rolls, pumpkin pasta, and pad thai, all vegan. Fansipan is the highest mountain in Vietnam at over 10,000 feet high, and today we're going all the way to the top. The most common way to get there is by taking a long cable car ride that will drop you off near the top of the mountain. It's actually one of the longest cable cars in the world at nearly 4 miles long. You can also hike up the mountain, but it takes several days, and from above it looks pretty difficult to do so. Once you arrive, there are still lots of stairs for you to climb to get to the summit of the mountain. You can also buy another ticket to take this train, but most people climb the stairs. Along the way to the top, there are some interesting areas to explore with statues and temples. It's also nice to take a bit of a break from all the stair climbing. After lunch, we're taking a motorbike tour through the nearby villages in Sapa. This was such a fun way to see a lot in just a few hours, and if you're someone like me who doesn't know how to drive a motorbike, it's great because you can just sit on the bike and enjoy the view. To start our day, we're grabbing a coffee at Cafe Yang, which is famous for its egg coffee. The cafe is tiny and so are the seats that you sit on, but it's all part of the experience. Nyokson Temple, or the Jade Mountain Temple, is right in the middle of Hon Kim Lake. As soon as you cross the bridge, you feel transported to a totally different world from the busy streets that you were just walking through. The Vietnamese Women's Museum was highly recommended to us, and it was an interesting way to learn more about women's history in Vietnam and learn more about ethnic minorities. The highlight for me was the fashion exhibit where they displayed these beautiful ao dais.
Like that.
The Temple of Literature is a temple dedicated to Confucius. As someone that loves reading books, I really like the name of this temple, which was considered the first national university. The temple has several courtyards that you can walk through, and the architecture is beautiful. Our last stop of the night is Nay Cocktail Bar, which was ranked number 76 in Asia's best bars. This bar is famous for its pho cocktail, which we obviously had to try. Thanks for joining us on our adventure in Hanoi and Sapa.